Alrighty then. Let's see what we could do here. We could just let's see. We're gonna go onto YouTube and start sharing some stuff here. I don't know if I'm live. Am I able to get live? Maybe get live. Probably. Let's see what happens. I mean, I'm pretty sure I am live. There it is. The notification. Awesome. GG. Now, let's see, because so the last two live streams, not gonna lie, the last two live streams that I did, dude, but the last two live streams, it's so crazy because the last two live streams that I did literally got to a certain point where it like literally like I got a copyright strike for the last music that I had here. So yay me for that one. Yay me for that one. Yay me for that. Let's see who we got here. Seems like my controller is off. Yeah, it's dead. Seems like it's dead. Doesn't want to connect. Yes. Maybe we could get something here. Do something. See how low this battery is. Yeah, it's pretty low. Gotta keep it on the charger for a quick second here. Fix this here. But how's everybody doing? And I know Hector was on here. What's up, Hector? Just try to get this stream working correctly. I'm hoping to get a couple of Wi-Fi battles in. Hopefully a couple of Little Cup Wi-Fi battles in. If anybody wants to do it. It's kind of easy to do. It's not, you don't have to worry about anything competitive. You don't have to worry about the IVs or EVs. Just breed 6 mons. Give it 8 moves.
vibrating. You could teach it TRs, TM moves. You can give it items if you want. Yeah, just have to like mute for a quick second. But again, like I said, trying to see what we could do here. Hmm. I'm also kind of like trying to check out on this other stream here, another YouTuber stream, and try to see what he's doing. But I'm pretty sure he's streaming on Twitch right now. I don't know if you guys heard of him yet. He goes by Mr. I'm not sure, not too sure, basically. It's all in one, smashed together. Mr. I'm not too sure is on the live stream, but hey, it is what it is. He is streaming right now. He's doing Wi-Fi battles right now. I just want to do some little cuff stuff here. If anyone's down, definitely let me know right now. We could do some little cup stuff. I'm just gonna connect online though. Yeah. Trying to do some little cup stuff here. I wonder how many people is on the live stream right now. Let's check. Again, I wish there was an app for like the chat for the live stream here. At least for like, at least adapt that onto what like the regular OBS. OBS should have that instead of other than the stream OBS. But it's okay. I'm not really complaining about it. So we're gonna go ahead, head up to YouTube. I'm gonna also have to set this to actually, can I just go to YouTube Gaming? I could. What? Nah. We're not gonna go to YouTube Gaming. I don't know why I'm thinking about YouTube Gaming would change the fact of how I stream here. Probably won't. Probably won't. And yes, I still got the cough apparently. If you haven't watched the previous streams, I pretty much have a cough, and honestly, it sucks ass. Where is the classic studio? Can I use the classic studio? Thank you. I would like to use the classic studio. And there's no point of going through the questions of explaining why I want to use the classic studio. Of course, you don't have what I want on the new studio. That's why I like to use the classic studio. Jeez, just let me use the classic studio. Alright, so who's in the chat room today? No one's watching. Apparently no one's watching. Jeez, man. That cough is just irritates a lot. Anyway, let's see, people start popping up. Nice. Check out my drip though. Nice and drippy. Let's set up the battle. And there we go. We got the battle set up. So, honestly, all I need is to hopefully we can get a battle in and be able to have a little cup battle. Anyone? Anyone's ready for a little cup battle? Waiting for a little cup battle. Anyone? Little cup battle. Anyone? I feel like I need to put the rose up here. I wanna man, she's bad cough, I swear. Still healing from sickness. Let's see. I know I put the rules here. Just trying to look for it. Yeah, here it is. Now we just need to copy the rules. Copy. Alright, got the copies. Good G on those rules. Okay, now we can put the rules here. Let me just do this. What the heck? Okay, let me put the rows here. Come on. Click this way, go this way, go here, go here. I gotta go do so many things to get to editing. Alright. Give it some space and paste. And there we go. So now we have the rules in the description. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Just gonna try to reopen back the other thing here because I was still watching the other stream. But hey, like I said, who wants to do a little cup battle? Anyone? 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 I feel like I'm gonna have to charge the controller some more though. Again, like I said, who wants to battle me in a little cup battle? Please let me know in the chat. Anyone wants to battle? Come on. Not that hard to do a little cup battle. Oh shit! Oh shit! Ah shit! Oh come on! Really? It detached? How did it detach? What? Really? The heck? Somehow it detached it. That's interesting. What the hell is wrong with my controller? Like it literally just disconnected. It's like it's not detecting it or whatever. Oh, that's low, but where's the other controller? Why is it not reattaching? Yeah, my other controller's not attaching. That's so weird. Is it? Is it dead? Is it? Hold on, guys. Okay. So it seems like both of my controllers are low battery, apparently. So we're just gonna wait for that to charge, I guess. But yeah, it seems like both of my controllers are low battery. I haven't had like a full charge on the low battery, so kind of sucks. Hey, do you have some Magenta? I need it for my Pokédex. I do have the sword game. I do not have the I don't have the shield game, so all I got is one particular legendary Pokemon that I'm not trying to really like trade yet. And I'm hoping to do trades like that once I go on to my second account and complete the game on the second account, and then be able to trade people extra legendary Pokemon. That's what I'm hoping to do. Yeah, no problem, dude. Definitely gonna need some medicine. Probably gonna need some tea. Right now, I'm just hoping I could get some battles. But I'm also hoping that my controllers charge before I could, when I really need it. Oh, this is great. I really want to battle. I really, really do. I really want to battle. Okay, let's check the charge. It says hold on to the rear. Slide the rear in. Okay, so we're gonna try to reconnect on the controllers. Gotta reconnect. Yeah. My controllers were kind of like disconnecting, and they were kind of a little bit low and dead. But I'm trying to at least get somewhat of a thing on here. Oh, thanks for commenting on my nice setup. I mean, I feel like I could do better with this setup, but it's just for me. But it's also not bad. True, it's totally true. Um, but yeah, I really want to get into this little cup battle though. So annoying. Yeah, true. It is about the content. It is true. It is so true. Let me just try to move the chat box over a little bit. There you go. Are you trading or rating? No, it's supposed to be Little Cup. It's supposed to be a Little Cup battle. That's the title here, a Pokemon Sword Little Cup. So it's supposed to be battling in a Little Cup sense of battling. So it's basically like baby Pokemon or Pokemon that are like pre-evolution to a certain Pokemon that evolves. I do have like the rules set up here in the description of how Little Cup works. I think I have a playlist of Little Cup battling. Eviolite is banned. Lol. Eviolite. Well, the way the rules set here for my rules, it's not banned. You can have Eviolite if you want. The only thing that's considered banned that I would consider that's banned on here, like I said, it's for the rules that I have set here. Sonic Boom, Dragon Rage, those moves are banned. Dynamaxing is banned, basically. But any other like item you could have. I think that's pretty much it when it comes to that. Yeah, that's basically what Little Cup is. But yeah. This is the team I got here, pretty much. I don't mind showing it off though. But yeah, I just want to do that. Try to have at least get a good Little Cup battle if anyone wants to do it. Like I said, you don't have to worry about like EV training it. You don't have to worry about having good IVs or not. it's basically more of a casual, fun little battle between level 5 Pokemon versus level 5 Pokemon and whatnot. So if you're interested, definitely put in the code. If you already have baby Pokemon already, definitely put in the code in and we could battle. That it is a little cup battle. What's that? My boxes are a mess. I'm shining breeding. Ah, okay. That's cool. Right now I'm not shiny breeding anything yet. I'm still trying to like figure out if I even want to do that at this moment. Oh no! I got hit. What? It hasn't been bad for me for so far. I got a few in a way shorter time than most people are posting, like 100 eggs. That's nice. That's pretty cool. I That's pretty cool though. Don't I have like a smoke ball or Pokédoll? Do I have a Pokédoll? I do have a Pokédoll. Pokédoll. I'm glad I had a Pokédoll. Jeez, man, I did not want to get attacked by a freaking Obstagoon at all. That's pretty cool though. I've seen like a lot of people are like going over like 1,000 or something, and then they're like, it literally like takes forever to get shinies. I wouldn't say it's scary. It seems like, well, how big is our like box honestly to even produce that many eggs to have that many Pokemon in there in the first place? Because if our bags are like at least a good 100, let's see. So far I could get up to about what, like I get 32 boxes. It's not a lot. It should be a little bit bigger than that. But then I only can see this happening if they would have made it about 300. 300 would have been good. Or at least 4. I would say about good 4 or 5. If you had like at least a good 400 or 500, fine. But even then, I feel like having an infinite amount of a box would be better. Kind of like how they did for Let's Go Eevee, Pikachu and Eevee. Like they made their box seem like it was like an infinite amount of that you could just constantly catch Pokemon and add Pokemon into their box. So yeah, just move them around and get rid of. Yeah, I mean, true. I mean, it's it's one of those things. I mean, I prefer if it was just an infinite amount of boxes though, because sometimes I wouldn't get rid of those at all. I just feel like just have an infinite amount will be better. Um, and and then knowing the fact that Pokemon Home is about to come out soon, like in February, you also have to figure out, oh, are they gonna do the whole infinite amount of boxes in there? Is it gonna be selected as a box thing? Like, because there's a lot of Pokemon, so and some people don't want to get rid of most of the Pokemon that they breed, so. Hmm. Seems like I got a couple of Pokemon here that want to say hi to me. I have like 9 boxes of. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. That is a lot. I feel like I have like. I think I at least have like at least probably like maybe 4 boxes of Grookey and then 5 boxes of Stoner. That is a lot. Hmm. Did you get did you get them low shiny? No, I didn't get them shiny. It was just the fact that once I was starting to do the whole egg thing, I was mostly just trying to get like certain IVs, try to get at least to get 6 IV or at least get 5 IV on a Pokemon. That's mostly what I was trying to do. Oh, hi, TIG animations. How you doing? But yeah, I was just trying to like get good IV Pokemon for the most part. That's why I was kind of like breeding. I wasn't really trying to do it for the shininess. Even though I like the even though I like the new shiny forms that they have, it's just like I'd rather just get some 5 IV or 6 IV Pokemon. Uh, 2 boxes are all 5 IVs. I was just trying to make sure that the stats were better for the shiny. Did both. Okay, that's pretty cool. Again, like I said, I'm not really trying to do shinies. It just I prefer doing it like that. Cause really like I want to, but I don't feel like I need to do it at this moment until like Pokemon Home comes out. Yes, you joined my YouTuber Dynamino. Oh, yeah, I know you. It's been a while since I heard anything from you guys, cause we don't really upload content on the Amino. Barely like share anything on there as well. Uh, yeah, it's somewhat worth it. It is somewhat worth it once once the amino for the Pokemon Home comes out. Hopefully, it'll be worth it to actually start doing shiny hunts. And I might do shiny hunts on here if we ever get to that point. True. You got we we really do need more people on that amino, and to be sharing content on there. Uh, I mean, I wish like other aminos will allow us to share other aminos, cause then it'll be good to get more people on other aminos, cause it would be hard to do that with like Facebook or Twitter or whatever. Yeah, that's another problem that I feel like it is an issue with the three sentence rule. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, you could tell what it's about by just the title of a certain thing, but that whole three sentence rule is such an annoyance. And I just don't like it. I really don't. I hate that three sentence rule. But it's there. Everyone wants to use that, so people say you don't spam or all this other under stuff that I just don't understand would be considered for spamming. I don't know. It's hmm. Interesting. Apparently, my ponyta is really liking this area, and hmm. But it sounds like they're repeating anything to repeat. Anyway, let's get out of that. But yeah, that's it. Again, the three sentence rule is so stupid. It's really is stupid. I really don't like that. I mean, I'm glad that I have like information on a certain like content to upload that, just to even post it on certain aminos that have that freaking rule. So that's a good thing. That's a plus. Like my Wi-Fi battles, I have like information specifically for it to actually use to put on aminos like that have that three rule shenanigans in the first place. um yeah, I'm really hoping they get this battle. I don't know how long I'm gonna stream for. I'm just really hoping to have a battle with someone though in the little cup tier. Tans and beans. Tans and beans. Interesting. Another tans and beans. A tiny mushroom. Interesting. Hmm. Let's see, what can I really do? And how would I wait for a very long time just to get a match in? Do I do a Gigantamax raid, I guess? Into then? Hi, Jordan. I kind of want to get a little cup Wi-Fi battle with any of you guys. If you guys ever want to do a little cup, again, like I said, it's easily explained on how to do a little cup battle. You don't have to worry about the competitiveness of the little cup battle. You don't have to worry about EVs and IVs. Pokemon have to be level 5. You could do singles or doubles. You could use any item. You can't use the K. You could use KO moves, but you can't use the what is it? Sonic Boom or Dragon Rage. And the reason why they do that for Sonic Boom and Dragon Rage is an unusable move is because of the whole accuracy thing. Because it's like, because those both have current, general accuracy, like 100% accuracy. That's why those moves are banned. I'll battle you when I get home. Okay. But how long would it take you to get home? I mean, I'm gonna still be here. Let's see, it's like 1:30, 1:38 p.m. Pacific time. Probably stream into it's like maybe 2 or 3. Like 1 minute, 1 minute or more. Okay, cool. Still be here until you get home and be able to battle. But yeah, like I said, you could use egg moves. You could use TMs, TR moves. You could use one-hit KO moves because of how low the accuracy is compared to a Sonic Boom or Dragon Rage. That's why Sonic Boom and Dragon Rage are banned. I do allow any item you can use. If you want to use Evilite items, you can use the Evilite item. Let's see, because I want to know what other move that I want to know this, because I don't think this does happen. I don't think this Pokemon could get it if you guys are trying to use it. And I'm trying to see what this Pokemon is. I think you guys probably know what Pokemon I'm talking about, but I don't think you guys do. But I know a lot of people will like want to use this particular Evilite Pokemon, but I highly doubt it could get the move that you guys are trying to get onto it as a level 5. And I think Cursula doesn't get it. I really don't think Cursula gets it at level 5. Or as an egg move. Okay. Moves are those by level 5. Okay. TRs, TMs. Oh, there. Yeah. It does not get Strength Sap as a level 5 move or an egg move. So, I really don't have nothing to worry about Evilite Corsola then. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. I don't have to worry about Evilite Corsola. Because Strength Sap is like level 35 move. So I don't have to worry about it. So that's a good thing. That's a plus. I don't have to worry about that. Nice. Alright. Okay, we're just gonna set up the battle request again. You know what? Let me just share some cards until then. That's a nice card. It's a nice card. Anyway, let's go ahead. Click the link battle. Select the codes of the link battle. That will be the link battle code. Was there anyone else who wanted to battle? Anyone? Anyone? Maybe, maybe so. Probably. Alrighty then. Now we just wait until someone comes along and let me know if they want to do a little cup battle. Because we got one person that we gotta wait for to that person get home. To that person to basically. Oh, you know what? Let me just say the name. It's Jordan. It's Jordan, basically. So we gotta wait for Jordan to come home so they can get online and take us on a little cup battle. And then we gotta wait for other people who might want to be able to take on a battle as well. You never know who wants to battle yo boy in a little cup battle. And see who could beat me. Little cup battle. Little cup battle. Little cup battle. Little cup battle. Anyone want to battle me in a little cup battle? Already got one person who's gonna be waiting for us to do a little cup battle. Can we have any other person who wants to do a little cup battle? Anyone? Rules are in the description. Rules are in the description. Rules in description. Rules in description. I also gotta hear the audio to make sure audio is working perfectly fine. Yay! Jordan's home, and we can get a little cup Wi-Fi battle. Awesome. He is connecting internet. now we just gotta wait until he enters that same code that we have there, like for like the longest. Let me know if you already got to the point of setting up the code. Let me know if you already got your baby Pokemon already. Alright. Gotta get your baby Pokemon. Okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let's change the song real quick. That's Pokemon Rude. Let's see. Pokemon. Why does it sound the same? No, never mind. I think it's good where it's at. I think. All right. Oh no, it's about to go right after me. Literally keep going forward. I'm gonna do a spin. I'm gonna do a spin. Spin, spin, spin. I'm gonna try to do a long time spin until you get on here. Alright, you're ready? Nice. You already had that code memorized. Oh, you did not have the code memorized. Okay. Let me do it again. So this is the code. Get it up memorized. Put it down right there. There we go. Where is the battle? Battle. Shouldn't take that long to get that belt activated. Let's try a new code. Try 7890 78 90 7890. Hopefully we can get this batch started before my controller on my battery starts to die off. There we go. And then we gotta put it on no restrictions. So single battle, no restrictions. Select their mons. There we go. Let's see what we got here. Okay. That is not what it's supposed to be looking like, sir. It's supposed to be level 5 baby Pokemon. And this is Pokemon that has a pre-evolution stage. So anything that's no, because of the Mankey's level 1 does not that monkey is basically a how would I say it? It's it doesn't have an evolution basically. So if a Pokemon does not have a evolution, it's not considered a baby Pokemon. A Pokemon has to have a evolution to consider itself as a basic Pokemon or a baby Pokemon. Like you got Pikachu here. Pikachu was a baby Pokemon before Pokemon what you call it? Before Silver and Gold basically. But then it ended up having a Pichu. Pichu is now the basic form of Pikachu in a way. And you have to make your Pokemon up to level 5 because that's the max cap. It's like you got mostly everything right except for the fact that the leveling and the baby Pokemon aspect. Some of them were baby Pokemon, some weren't baby Pokemon in that aspect. So let you fix that real quick. Gonna have to grab all your baby Pokemon, level up to level 5 because that's the max cap. So pre-evolution like Pichu, Riolu, Grookey, Eevee, what's another one? Slowpoke. Any of those Pokemon are considered basic baby Pokemon before having an evolution. Not Mankey. I keep forgetting that one Pokemon. What is that one monkey Pokemon name? I know the other one. I know it's Pissimian or Guru or something like that. They don't have an evolution. They don't have a pre-evolution. Like saying like Snorlax. Snorlax never had a pre-evolution into 4th generation, and then Snorlax ended up being a fully evolved Pokemon, and then much like end up being a baby Pokemon, the basic form of a Pokemon. And then you have to level up again up to level 5. And if you look at the rules that's in my description, it explains that the max cap is level 5. Again, Pokemon that are bred are considered baby Pokemon, level 1. And yes, Rockarola will be considered a Rolla. Is it Rockarola? Basically, yeah, it will be considered a baby Pokemon because it's at its base form. And again, because you learn moves that are from level 5 or using TR moves as well. And again, they have to be egg moves or TR or TM moves. But yeah, that's the basic concept of what Little Cup is. We're gonna use the same code in here again. I'll just wait up on that one. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, that's like again. That's how a little cup is. That's how it's. That's how you could. I mean, you could use. I would say, if you need to look at it, you could look at it at the like the how the rules are in Smogon. I know a lot of people don't use Smogon, but if you use Smogon and you look at what the rules and how Little Cup is set, they kind of explain somewhat what little Pokemon are, what are the basic form of a Pokemon is. So anything that's at its basic form that has an evolution is considered baby Pokemon. Any Pokemon that are newly presented to themselves in the pre-evolution now will be considered baby Pokemon. Yes, the code is still the same. We're gonna go ahead and click that. Code is still the same. But yeah, it's generally is like that basically. That's how you could tell what's a baby Pokemon. And then again, level 5 is the max. You either have egg moves, TR moves, anything that you can level up to level 5. Moves that aren't up to level 5, if you want to use those moves from level 1 to 5. Again, you also have the option to use TR moves and egg moves that you do from breeding. And now my left controller just got detached. So now I have to charge my blue controller. Yay. So now I gotta use one controller right now to play the game. Yay for me. Yep, and we're gonna go ahead and select no restrictions, because it says if you put it at level 50, it'll actually make all the Pokemon to a 50 cap. We don't want level 50 caps for our Pokemon. We want level 5 caps, so we put the no restrictions to give us the option to use level 5 Pokemon. Another good way of doing things. What? The communication ended. Why the communication ended? Do. 7, 8, 9, 0. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, here we go again. We're gonna put the code in. We put the code in. Now we just wait for you again with the battle. But yeah, I mean, since you're kind of new to that, sometimes it's hard to like I guess separate what's considered a Little Cup Pokemon and what's considered a non-Little Cup Pokemon. Because again, it's like the whole situation like Pikachu. Pikachu was the Little Cup Pokemon, but it's no longer the Little Cup Pokemon because it has an actual precursor to that Pokemon, being Pichu. Pichu could be considered the baby Pokemon, being the basic form of Pikachu. Pichu would be considered baby, therefore Pikachu is no longer a baby Pokemon, or the basic form of its Raichu form. So Pichu would consider baby basic form, to that evolves into Pikachu, that evolves into Raichu, and so far and so far. But yeah, again, like I said, I get how you could get the confusion between what's considered baby or not baby. And the reason why Oragoro is basically a Pokemon that doesn't have an evolution or pre-evolution. So therefore, it's just a standard Pokemon compared to a Pokemon that has a baby form or a basic form. Alright. So now, let's see what we got here. And again, sir, you might need to level up your Pokemon to level 5. Again, this is another thing. You're gonna have to level up your Pokemon to level 5 because it will not max it out at level 5. You have to max it out at level 5. You gotta have some rare candies. You're gonna have to, max your Pokemon up to level 5 so they'll be able to generally battle the correct way of battling. Because I don't have level 1. So you need to have level 5. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I mean, I don't think a level 1 could actually do as much as it needs to against me. But we'll see what happens. I think it could one shot. I think it's a one shot. I don't think it is it a one shot? Oh, it's not a one shot. Okay, so I guess level 1 Pokemon could handle a level 5. Never mind. Interesting. Interesting. That's interesting. That is very interesting. I mean, if I wasn't getting crits, it's interesting. Basically. I feel like switching out then. Instead of getting crits all the time with this Pokemon then. Because I feel like I'm just going to get a guaranteed crit. And I'd rather have a Pokemon that's not always get a guaranteed crit. So we're going to bring out our bunny here. Our nice juicy mon here. Oh, fake out? Okay. I see you with the fake outs. Oh yeah, this Pokemon has like 2 strengths and weaknesses, right? It's like a steel type, right? Yeah, it's a steel type, and steel type, pure steel type. So I have a fighting type move that could take you out, and I have a blaze kick could take you out. I'm gonna use blaze kick, and you only can use fake out once. Once you use it, that's it. Unless you switch back out and switch back in to use fake out again. Tips, teaching. Might as well teach while we do this. Okay. Charmander. Hello, Charmander. We're gonna go with a tackle for the Charmander. Not bad. Pretty good, decent amount of damage. Probably much a good, decent amount of damage. Yeah, I still feel like you should probably have gotten your Pokemon up to level 5. Because I think your Pokemon would handle this a little bit much better. And then probably had to teach it one of the TR and TM type moves as well. If you didn't have any like particular egg moves at all. I'm gonna go for a switch. I'm just gonna use the U-turn to switch out. And I'll just put Paul in. Now, here's the thing about Paul. Paul does have evolution, so it's still Slowpoke is still considered a baby Pokemon. Yes, the evolutions are not out yet into the was it to June and what? No, somewhere June or November or something like that. But it's still considered a baby Pokemon because it does have an evolution, and so this is allowed. How would I deal with? I'm just gonna go for a Zen Headbutt. They get Stab anyway. Stab, Zen Headbutt. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. But again, for further future times when you want to do a little cup is to generally get the Pokemon up to level 5, like how these Pokemon are up at level 5. And again, giving it some TR moves or other moves like that. Dynamax is not allowed. Again, if you look at the rules here on the description, Dynamax are not allowed. I'm still trying to figure out if I ever want to do a Dynamax situation because I haven't tested it yet, and that's another thing I want to do is test something like that out if I want to do Dynamax. So until then, I'm not going to use it yet. I feel like there still needs to be more testing for Dynamaxing, but you're gonna still do it. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But I still feel like I need more testing on Dynamax. If a level 5 can handle a Dynamax, then fine. Oh. Max Flare. Okay. Okay, bring the sunny day in there. Okay. Let's see. I could go for horsepower. I don't mind for horsepower. Horsepower seems the logical way of doing things. Yeah. Again, like I said, I just want to test it out. I haven't tested it out yet and see if it's overwhelming to Dynamax. It might not be that overwhelming to Dynamax. So we might allow Dynamaxing for a next time. But for now, I'm still trying to figure out how would I do it. And if it's like I said, if it's not overpowering, fine, Dynamax. And this is what I will probably figure out in the next future of requesting battles on Amino or streaming, because I don't know if it's still good enough to even do it, but if it's good enough to do it, that's fine. Yeah. I'll grab your trainer card because I didn't do it the last time. But yeah, that's basically the general way to do Little Cup, I guess. But yes, there is 2 different ways of doing Little Cup. Again, you have level 1. You could do level 1 with level 1 Pokemon. You also do level 5 with level 5 Pokemon. There's other people who do the level 50 cap. What was the other one? You have the level 50 cap. You have the level 1 cap. You have the level 5 cap. Again, you have certain moves that are usable, certain moves that are not usable. Again, basic Pokemon being Pokemon that has an evolution are used in. So Pokemon that Pokemon that can evolve into a bigger Pokemon are allowed. So like it's saying Grookey can evolve into another Pokemon. So Grookey is allowed because he's at the basic form that makes a Pokemon into the other Pokemon. You can use Grookey, but you cannot use his evolution, and vice versa. You have that monkey Pokemon does not have a evolution to make that a baby Pokemon. It doesn't have a pre-evolution to make a pre-evolution work for it. So since it's just a one Pokemon, you can't use it. You have Spinda. You can't use Spinda because it's just that Pokemon, because it has no either evolution or pre-evolution. There's a bunch of other Pokemon that has the same thing, where it's like you think you'll be able to use it, but you're not. You're not able to use it because of the fact of, one is that basically a baby. What is this? Casual control. Why did I wanted to turn the casual control on? Okay. Yeah. Basically, like I said, it's basically how that works. I don't know what else to say. I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, generally, that's pretty much your general basis of what a baby Pokemon is. You also have examples of what baby Pokemon look like on the left side of my layout as well. Perfectly explain what a baby Pokemon looks like. You also have the fact that you see my Pokemon. They're basically considered baby Pokemon that has an evolution that are basically considered a Pokemon that you could use in a little cup. Basically, these will be the examples of what a little Pokemon looks like. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think if anybody else wants to do this, definitely, again, I am on a Pokemon Amino. I am on other like aminos that have to do with Pokemon. I do try to put out a request on there, and if you want to try it out, again, like I said, this is more of a fun, non-competitive little cup, so you don't have to worry about again EV training or getting a perfect IV Pokemon. Any good IVs that you have level up to level 5, good. Again, still trying to test out the Dynamax. If Dynamax is good for a level 5 versus level 5 Pokemon, awesome. Then we could start doing Dynamaxing for baby Pokemon, and it will be a thing, and everybody will have fun, because again, like this, it's for fun. Again, also I also have like the rules set up on the Amino as well. If you do follow me on Pokemon Amino, I do have the basic rules for Little Cup, and then I also have the rules that I have there as well to compact of how would you play exactly, just to make it much easier to explain how the rules work in Little Cup as well. So I like to like double down on what the rules are. Again, you also have Slogon, and Slogon also have their set rules as well. I kind of go off based off how Pokemon Company does the rules. more than less do with Smogon and how they do the rules. Definitely hope you guys like Little Cup, get into Little Cup, because Little Cup needs to be more of a thing. They only did it, I think the Pokemon Company did it once for a competitive scene, online competitive scene at one time. I don't know when they will bring that back, but it'll be cool to see them bring it back. Other than that, let's see, what time is it right now? Like, is it 2? Is it 2 o'clock? 2:22? Yeah, I mean, again, if you want to try it out again, if you want to do another battle, I don't mind doing another battle. All I gotta say, like, again, Jordan, if you want to battle me again, level up your Pokemon to level 5. We could do another battle if you want to do a rematch. If you want to go ahead and teach it some TM moves or TR moves, I'm still not going to get used to the fact that they call them TR moves. I guess because they are from raids, they're considered TR moves. But whatever. You have that. So another way I want to explain the whole TR situation, TM moves too, because that's the thing. TR moves will be considered moves that you learn, or TM moves. So you have a TR move like agility. You have a TM move like air slash. These are moves that you could teach Pokemon at a level 1 to level 5 move. Some Pokemon can learn it, some Pokemon cannot learn certain moves under that levelness. Again, you also have egg moves, and I'm going to give you an example of what egg moves are, because this is a perfect Pokemon that has a particular egg move. So this is a horn drill move. Now, apparently, Ponyta gets this by leveling up, and also gets it like a egg move. So if you breed a parent who has the move Horn Drill, you could get that as an egg move. That's how egg moves work. And then you could just pass down a move that's considered a egg move. And like this, it's a one-hit KO move. You could get that through breeding, whoever can learn that egg move. And if you want to learn more about that, they also have Survey. That Survey.net also explains what egg moves are and how to get egg moves onto a Pokemon. There's other YouTubers who explain how to do that as well. There's like I know most people might hate me for this, but like you have egg guides, and I think Verlisify has an egg guide, somewhat of an egg guide for it right now for these 8th generation game here. Maybe you want to look up his video on that and how to do egg moves and how to get them and whatnot. I'm pretty sure other YouTubers did egg group things, or like how to breed Pokemon and how to get egg moves. But it's real easy. It's not difficult. It doesn't take that long of a time to get actual egg moves, because all you gotta do is breed one Pokemon and that Pokemon will have that egg move. Simple. It just, you gotta have to breed the Pokemon with that same egg group to get the egg move. Like Belly Drum. That's another one. Like Slowpoke. My Slowpoke doesn't get Belly Drum normally, basically. Another example of a Pokemon that doesn't get like a egg move. I mean, doesn't get Belly Drum unless you could give it a egg only gets by egg. So I have the I have that ice Pokemon, that ice block face Pokemon, and it has Belly Drum. Now the only way I was able to get Belly Drum with that Pokemon is because I had Dormaka, and Dormaka has Belly Drum. So I had to breed Dormaka with the Ice Face Pokemon to get Belly Drum. Dormaka can't breed with Slowpoke because they're different egg groups, but since Dormaka and the Ice Pokemon are in the same egg group, they could breed to get Belly Drum, right? Awesome. So now I could breed the Ice Pokemon that has a secondary egg type group that could breed with Slowpoke, and therefore Belly Drum. Simple as that. That's kind of how it works. I mean, that's easily how it works, and it's easy to explain. So you probably don't need the egg guy to explain that. You also have certain items. I feel like you also have other items that also help out with either. I think this is more of a shiny guide to breeding. Items like what was it called? The Everstone and Destiny Knot to pass out IVs in nature. That's okay, I guess, if you want to do something like that. But like I said, this is more of a fun thing. You don't have to have perfect IVs. You don't have to do the whole nature whatever. I mean, if you want a certain nature, because you definitely want that certain nature to boost up your attack or your defense, go for it. But again, like I said, this is more the fun. Don't have to worry about the IVs. Don't have to worry about the EVs. Just level up your Pokemon to 5 and have a good time. And just have a good time. And again, testing out the battle system with the Dynamax. I'm definitely gonna try to check it. And if it's a good thing to do, then I'll definitely make that a non-ban. I'll definitely do Little Cup with Dynamax. If your guys would like to do Little Cup with Dynamax, it's fine by me. Other than that, I think I kind of explained most of that in a good, positive way of explaining it. Yeah. I think that's pretty much it. I think we could go ahead and end the stream here. Hope you enjoyed that match, Jordan. GG again. GG for that match. Again, when you guys are ready to do, because I might stream again, but I might do some requesting on battling anyway on Pokemon Amino. So if you guys are following me on any of those aminos, any Pokemon Amino like thing, and I start requesting like Little Cup battles, most definitely hit me up when I start requesting those battles, because I would like to do battles with you guys, and I would like to put it up on here on the channel, because I need to put a little bit more content on the channel anyway. This is a fun, friendly content that I would like to put up on the channel and get more people back into Little Cup. Again, thank you guys for coming out to the stream. I'm gonna go ahead and get ready for work. I need to get ready for work, so definitely check you guys again in another stream. Check you guys again when I start uploading more videos, and talking with you guys in the comment section as well, because I do respond to the comments. So definitely, most definitely comment so I could respond, and so you could get, so I could know what your feedback was, and I could give you my feedback. But yeah, bye guys.